Hey team, hope you're weathering the storm, hanging in there, despite the down market. Now I know things are brutal, but they will recover soon enough. Just hold on, stay strong. Let's talk about something that's worse than a down market. One of the worst things that can happen in crypto, scams, and how you can avoid getting scammed. There is not a finite list of scams that I can offer you because it is a constant cat and mouse game. New scams pop up all the time, but there are some basic types of scams that you can learn to avoid. Let's talk about the rug pull. The premise of a rug pull is simple. Somebody announces a new, amazing, wonderful project. It's going to change the world, you see, and it's going to, even better, it's going to make you rich. Those who invest are promised huge returns, and all you have to do is send your precious coin right here to this address. Up to this point, it superficially looks like an investment, and who doesn't want to get in early on an amazing investment? Don't we all wish we were in Bitcoin in 2010 or Ethereum in 2014? Just think, the right investment at the right time could set you up for life. Or better, intergenerational wealth, establish a dynasty, be the subject of a tragic comedy with your kids fighting each other to inherit your empire.
Everything I've done in my life, I've done for my children. I know I've made mistakes, but I've always tried to do the best by them because I love them.
Have you thought about the possibility that your children are actually scared of you?
Oh, fuck.
Alas, with a rug pull, you'll never get to play out your wealthy tycoon fantasies because the people behind your investment, they simply take the money and run. So far as the mechanics are concerned, this is a very simple scam, but it can happen on a huge scale. Example, OneCoin, which was launched in 2014, purported to sell educational packages for asset trading. Each package would cost thousands of dollars, but more importantly, you'd earn that money back many times over from the new people that you got to enroll. The project was headed by a dynamic, confident, credentialed woman named Dr. Ruja Ignatova. Born in Bulgaria, raised in Germany with a law PhD from an elite German university, Dr. Ignatova drew in thousands of people from across the globe. She and her team hosted elaborate events where she gave rousing speeches on the cryptocurrency revolution and how OneCoin would lead the way to a bold new future. But OneCoin was a scam. US prosecutors say the scam raked in over $4 billion from across the globe. Other sources pegged that number much higher. Now, there were definitely some red flags that people should have caught. First of all, for all the rhetoric about the cryptocurrency revolution, OneCoin was never a cryptocurrency. There was no OneCoin blockchain, and there was no exchange where it could be traded. By their own account, there was only one place you could exchange your OneCoin for euros, and that was on OneCoin's own exchange that they set the price on. That alone should have been a giant red flag for people. Further, apparently nobody cared about the educational packages being sold, or they might have realized sooner that every single one of them was plagiarized. This is a really sad situation, and it's common on these scams. The ones who get taken in are not usually sophisticated, experienced traders or investors. It's people who don't see the red flags like this because they don't even know to look for them. And it's hard to think clearly when you want to believe what the scammer is telling you, that you'll make life-changing money if you just follow the Pied Piper and do exactly what they tell you. There are a million more things that should be said about OneCoin, and there are some really great videos out there about it already. It's a fascinating story on its own. Ruja Ignatova kept the whole thing going for 3 years and then completely disappeared in 2017. And get this, Kate Winslet is slated to play Ignatova in an upcoming Hollywood movie about the whole ordeal. That is a true story. There are tons of other rug pulls we could talk about: Bitconnect, WoToken, DeFi 100, and of course the most recent high-profile rug pull, Squid Token. You probably heard about this. It was a token taking its name and branding from Squid Game, the Korean mega hit on Netflix. It presented itself as a play-to-earn game, and you use their token in a series of games that mirror what you see on the show, but the game wasn't launched. You could just buy the token early. Writing on the name of the most watched Netflix show of all time seems to have been a brilliant, if totally illegal, marketing move, because the Squid token went from about a penny in value to over $2,800, and then the pull.
$1.68 trillion. And now the market, oh, it went to zero. Yeah!
Listen, guys, did anybody think this was a good investment? Or did they just think they could get out before the next sucker? Let's count up the red flags. First, the token wasn't associated with the actual show or Netflix. Not a good sign. The game was not launched, not even in beta. but they're more than ready to sell you the token. Also probably not a great sign. And then the value skyrocketed for essentially no reason overnight. Not actually a good indicator for real value. These rug pulls can be transparent, stupid scams like Squid Coin, or they can be an elaborate, years-long ruse like OneCoin. But more often than not, they're run by short-sighted, sloppy grifters. And there are some red flags that you can look for so you don't get rug pulled. First, it is not easy to build working, decentralized technology and infrastructure. It takes time and money and capable people. So if the project you're looking at suddenly popped up overnight with no prior history, no announcements leading up to the launch, and they're asking for money right out of the gate, you should be extremely dubious. Here's another one. If the developers are entirely anonymous, where you can't verify their past work, or they're extremely difficult to even identify, or you've identified them and they've never spoken publicly about this project ever, not even at launch, those are all giant red flags. For example, in 2017 and 2018, I was the head of marketing for a crypto startup at the time called Mainframe. We had a fantastic team of very capable people, so capable that some scammers simply copied their pictures and names and put them on their site as though they worked there. None of us had ever heard of allmall.co, yet there were the faces of my coworkers and their names. I don't know how Allmall was getting people to their site, but if you went there and you clicked on their pictures, it would take you to that person's LinkedIn profile where you could see all of their many impressive accomplishments. Very convincing, except if you didn't look closely, you might miss the fact that they didn't actually work for the project claiming to have them on their team. This happens all the time. Big names in cryptocurrency will have their faces plastered on a fraudulent project so that it looks legit. The lesson is simple. The team members of the project you're thinking about investing in should not only be real people, but it should be very clear from their presence elsewhere on the web that they're working on this project. When in doubt, ask. Get on Twitter, get on Discord, ask them. Another thing to look for is low liquidity. Look at the 24-hour trading volume. If you can't independently verify the liquidity, that alone is a bad sign. That's what OneCoin did. Assuming you can look at the liquidity, make sure the project has some actual trading volume. I've heard that trading volume should be at least 10% to 40% of the coin's total market capitalization, but really just use your head. If the trading volume is a few $1,000s, like low single digit or even double digit thousands, that's a bad sign. It's low enough that one person could spoof that. How about community engagement? The only way any of this stuff, cryptocurrency, NFTs, DAOs, the US dollar for crying out loud, all of this has value because a large group of people have agreed together that it's valuable. This is called community. If a project you're looking at doesn't have much social following at all, that's a bad sign. If it has a lot of followers but very little engagement, also a bad sign. A conspiracy to steal your money is easiest when there are very few people involved, but if you have a large community of backers on the project, that at least tells you that a bunch of people are committing their time, effort, and energy to this project. There are no guarantees. Crowds of people have fallen for scams before, but at least that's a good indicator that you're not the one sucker that's getting taken for a ride. Another thing to look for, audits. A legit project will do everything it can to foster trust, including letting a third party go through its code to verify the security of what they're building. If they aren't even talking about audits, that's a bad sign. Maybe they're new and they haven't built to that point where they're ready for an audit yet, but you should at least look for and be ready to ask about it. Here's another one, and this may be the most simple and powerful thing you can do, and it's gonna sound silly. Are you ready for this? Look at the spelling and punctuation. A lot of these sites are just sloppy. The grammar is weird. Like, look at the Allmall site. Allmall, an international online store with its own cryptocurrency, period. Based on your wishes, exclamation point. This is not how a copywriter would actually write this stuff. The same thing was true of the OneCoin project. It was just sloppy. There were typos all over their official documents. You guys, real professionals pay attention to details, especially when there are large sums of money on the line. Scammers apparently do not. And I hate to say this because it's kind of a cop-out, but use your spidey sense. Does it feel like a scam? Do you find yourself being kind of hesitant? Is there a ton of hype around the project? Are people giving rousing speeches? Now, nothing wrong with speeches or getting excited. I've been a marketer for most of my career, and exciting projects should get people excited, but they have to be backed by a real product and real users. Here's one. Are the founders pretty soft around the edges when you ask about who, what, where, when, why, how of their project? Do they refuse to give you firm answers? Those are all red flags. As the saying goes, don't trust verify. Check the details, educate yourself deeply and thoroughly before throwing your money to people who might just walk away with it. That's it, that's rug pulls. What else do you want to hear about? Should we cover some other types of scams? There are a lot out there. Should we talk about basic safety measures that you need to even have a chance to stay safe in the wild, wild west of crypto? I've been around for a while. There are definitely some basic things that everybody should be doing. Let me know what you think, what you would like to hear about, what you need to learn. Leave it down in the comments and we will address it all in a future video. Thanks, team.